Hello everyone and welcome to Bevins Builds, and today's video is going to be how I trim out a window. Now it's kind of a sunny day today, so it's a little hard to kind of show you the window I'm going to be working on, which I'm going to change around and show you that. But the first thing I want to touch on is probably the best and easiest way to do it, just to kind of give you some information, would be to actually drywall straight up to the window all the way around, do your corners, and then you're done. You just paint it and then you can just put a little quarter round or whatever around the window. And what I'm actually doing is I'm going to be taking this 1x6, I'm going to be cutting it down into size, and then we're going to be fitting it into that window. Now in an attempt to try and speed the video along, because it would actually be quite a long video if I left it at normal speed, I sped everything up. But the first thing I want to say is, for all my 1x6 boards, as you can see here, I cut them at a 45 on the edge. And then once I get them all cut down to the 45, what I'll do is I'll take them down over to the window, and then I will try a fitment, which is what I'm doing here to make sure that I get those all inside. Now what those boards are actually for, it's to hide the drywall seam. Plus it gives you a nice, smooth, decorative finish that you can paint. So once I get everything all nice and sized and leveled, I'll get it in there, like I said, and then I'll take and put some shims in there, which I'm doing right here. And what those shims are for is because not all sills are always perfect. And once you get everything in the hole there, you want to make sure that your seams line up really well in the corners where you have the 45s. And on the left side there, they were a little bit out of skew. So what I did is I took the shims there and then just kind of tapped it in until everything was lined up really nice and neat. And then I go ahead and I grab the gun and I'll start nailing it, which you'll see here in just a minute. Again, this is an option to drywalling. This is how I do the windows because it's easier to access them. Now you can see here where I'm nailing them up. And what I do is I put 2 nails on each side, or in the corners if you will, and then I put 2 nails in the center and move all the way around the window until everything's nice and attached. But the first thing I'll do after I get all the nails in and the boards are secured is I will knock off those shims, as you can see there, with a hammer, and then I'll beat that flush. Now the next thing I'm going to do is start working on the inside window trim. And again, I've already kind of pre-cut some of it just to try and speed the video along and show you what you're doing, or what I'm doing anyway. Now, that particular trim, as a matter of fact, let me stop the video here and I'll show you. Now, real quickly, I just wanted to show you kind of what I'm using. For the actual inside of the window frame, I start out with this, it's pieces of 1x6. It's 1x6 by 6 feet, as a matter of fact. And what it is the window's inside dimensions are actually 36 inches in all 4 directions. So that's why I bought these 6-foot boards. Now mind you, keep in mind once you cut these down and you have the angles on them, technically I have like about 1 inch or 2 inches left on each board once I do all the cutting. So just keep in mind that that is more than enough wood, and it minimizes the amount of slop and leftover that you have left. Now after I do that, what I was just showing you that I was putting up is this, I want to call it bull nose, but I believe that's the incorrect term. But anyway, what this is this is 1 inch, oops, excuse me. This is 1 inch wide by 11/16 thick. And these are also, or actually these are 8-foot lengths. So I have a little bit more extra on those than anything. And then the last thing we're going to be putting up, just so you can see it, is this trim here. And you know what? Just to show you what it looks like on the edge of it. Now these boards are all 7 feet in length. And what's great about that, again, I still have a little left over, but it leaves you a little room for error, because typically what I do is I'll make a cut, I'll test it, and then I'll trim it down a little bit if it doesn't fit. And again, just to show you what the ends of this looks like, this is what I'm putting on the inside of the windowsill. And I just wanted to kind of show you how little I have left over. To me, that's the most important thing, is you don't want to have a whole bunch of wood left over when you're done with all your trim. So again, with these pieces, I have 2 little pieces of that left, and I have these little corners that I cut off the other ends. These are the 2 pieces that were left from the 1x6x6. And this is what I mean by I have a little bit extra left of this piece, because those are, like I said, those are a little bit longer, those are 8 feet. But to me, it's still better to have too much than not enough. Anyway, what I did here, I kind of screwed up, because I didn't show you the nailing of this. But anyway, I just got it all fit, and I went and grabbed the nail gun, and I apparently lost that piece of footage. But now what I'm doing is I'm doing the finish trim on the exterior of the wall here. I'm getting it cut, and again, I'm cutting it in a 45. Every cut I make for every piece of trim is always cut on a 45. And like I said, I do that so that way you get a nice, good alignment with, specifically on the exterior of the window, it has to be on a 45, so everything's nice and snug all the way around the window. Assuming and hoping that your window is actually on a 45 anyway. But after I get this cut, I go over there, and what I do is I put one nail in the middle on the baseboard, I level it, then as you can see there, I go to the left side, put one nail in the middle, I level it and then put one nail in the middle. Then I do the same thing on the right side. I get it what looks to be as good as possible and leveled. And then I put a nail in the middle. And then after I do that, I'll go back and I'll grab the top board and I'll set that on. And then I'll make sure that all my corners are nice and square and snug, which I'm taking another measurement to go cut that board. Anyway, get the board up there, and again, I'll check it for level, put a nail in the center, and then I run the rest of the nails all the way around the window. As you can see now, I put one in every corner and one in the center. And I wasn't thinking the last step I do, I'm showing you this because I go over all the seams and the nail holes with this paintable caulk to give you the finished product. And here is the finished product, all nice and clean. As you can see, like I said, I do use caulk over all the nail holes, and I'll try to get up close to you for you. So you can see that I have a little caulk that I just take my finger and just spoon it over there a little bit. And what it does is it just fills that in for a nicer finish when it's painted. And then the other thing is I even take a little caulk, and it's very minute amount, but I put a little bit on my finger and I just rub it along the corner, and then I just rub it on the seams itself as well. Like I said, just to give it a nice clean finish. But anyway, that's all for today's video. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video and it helped you learn how to, or showed you how, or maybe it taught you a new way to do window trim. So as always, thank you for coming to Bevins Builds. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share below, and we'll see you next time on Bevins Builds.